I'm going to start the recording on this already, just so you guys know. There are 10 lights on here. There's 4 on the camera itself, 2 all up to the side, and then 4 more up here. So we have a total of 10. Yeah, you're good, bro. Go ahead. Yeah, he has no idea where he's going. He's got his Google Maps on.
Okay.
Aww.
The slower the movements, the better of a camera or like a video that we're actually going to have. So I will kind of give us a few starts and stops.
Okay.
Along with that, just because some of the spaces in between, like there's no point in recording. Let's see if we can get this.
And you want it to be showing them right now versus what you showed us in the beginning?
Oh, I want all those lights on.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah.
Just checking. Make sure my equipment's going.
I'm gonna be very upset if this camera does not reboot.
Happy thoughts.
I know, right?
Happy thoughts.
The camera will reboot. We just have to put it out in the universe. Manifest it.
The problem is that there's no green light on the camera itself.
Green light. Green light.
That one?
This guy.
No,
so
the one
looking
he's
at
doing.
the bottom here.
Oh.
It's supposed to be green.
Oh. Bizarre. I can smell it. Yeah.
Once we have all of our equipment, can you take a picture of us?
Ah, we're up and running. Awesome.
Yay!
All right, so quick demo with this guy. You should be able to see me in there. Right?
Yeah, I
Red,
do.
orange, and yellow guy.
Yep.
So
Is that a he?
this joke's actually going to work here because it's all ladies. That means I'm the hottest thing inside the video. The wife hates that joke, and the gentlemen always hate that joke when I have a mixed bag. But anyway, so
That's headlights.
I'm like, I think I just illuminated.
like, did you need a paper towel?
Yeah, no, I'm good. No, I already went. No.
So we're literally, what are we using this for? What do you think?
Heat signatures.
Right,
Looks like,
exactly.
yeah.
We are looking for cold spots, literally. So this
Cold
is it.
spots.
We're looking for cold spots.
Well, it picks up.
Because we're like
heat
the
and
living,
then-
so we have.
We're
hot,
red.
so we're looking for cold.
We are hot.
We're looking for blue and black.
We are hot, always.
Blue and
Okay.
black are the
Hot.
items we're looking for in here.
Are
So
y'all listening?
they're
Blue and
either going
black.
to take in shape or they're going to start moving on their own. So that's the whole point of this camera. So we will be using this again periodically throughout the night. You'll probably get about an hour and a half worth of video, as much as you guys like to chit chatter. So just so you guys know. So we'll probably have an hour and a half out of this and probably an hour and a half out of that guy, because again we're going to do a few starts and stops.
Okay.
This camera is actually what firemen use to actually help save people. Like this is the real deal.
They find like where the people are in the building or
exactly.
something, or
So again, through a fire, they can actually see the different heat signatures through things on this.
Do you not watch Chicago Fire?
nope.
I don't either, but I do a lot of studies, so obviously I know what I'm working
Well, I
with.
meant her.
I'm just
I've
curious
seen
how
that
they
one.
I watched Station
different-
19.
differentiate
Judging.
a
I
know what you're
person's
talking about.
body heat
Person is going to be a lot cooler
than a fire, so it's going to show up. Yeah.
Right. So you're going to hold this
Okay. Cool.
horizontal all night long.
Okay.
So the camera is in your lower left, just so you know.
Lower left.
That you just unhooked.
No, you can
Oh,
hold
no,
it up.
Oh no! I didn't. Even,
Now he's got to remove it
God, at
again.
this point, I may have to go to the bathroom
I
again.
don't know. I didn't.
I'm
I
gonna make sure
apologize.
you're fine. It happens.
I don't think you have to move it. He just wants you
You're
to
the
keep the
engineer
camera
and
at that.
screwed it up.
So let's make sure we can get
My
it.
mother will
out.
tell you that I'm nothing but trouble.
Is this the
She's
right device
wrong.
for you then?
No, it's good.
Okay.
I'm very.
Don't listen to
I'm
her
responsible.
mother. She's
I know.
not. She's wrong.
Hang on
about
to it. Let me know when
Okay.
it pops
Your
back
mom
up
and my
again.
mom
Okay.
are both crazy.
My mom's in
Spirit
there with
boxes.
them.
So,
Do you have to have spirit fingers?
Spirit sprinkle.
spirit fingers.
Yeah,
Spirit
say-
fingers. Look, guys got me saying it now. Spirit boxes are a way for us to
Hands.
communicate with the dead. This is going to be one of 2 spirit boxes that we're going to be using tonight, because I'm going to be using one as well. Just because it's a smaller group, I'm trying to get you as much data as I possibly can. So on your TV shows and YouTube videos, it's normally just the white noise, and then your bullshit TV host will try to put it in the middle of the screen of what's actually what he thinks he heard. I think I'm getting bit.
I know. I'm getting bit standing over here. I should really probably move.
Well,
But
I'm not sweet enough.
I'm not. Come this way with me.
Yeah, I'm not sweet enough. I'm good here.
I wonder if you're in like some kind of, because I'm not good yet, but I'm not very nice either. So.
I wear pants. Camera's always going to be on your left. So even when you try to reach forward, that's a rest for a moment. Also on this video, just so you guys know, now that we have it back up and running, there's a blue dot on that screen going to be bouncing around. It's going to be giving you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. It kind of helps direct your eye when you're watching it to see where the coldest spots are going to be, and it's also very helpful because it also gives you the temperature. So I usually look
the
for...
coldest spot is what we're looking for.
Right. Well, not necessarily, because sometimes the things I caught aren't always the coldest things. So again, this isn't always a real-time moment. It's usually about the media review with this particular one.
Yay.
Back to spirit boxes. So white noise, right? TV show host gives you bullshitty things you heard. We're going to be doing that in real time, only mine is slowed down. Mine is slowed down on purpose because none of you are used to listening to white noise for 2 hours at a time, plus all the history I'm going to give you. Somebody's going to fall asleep. So there's another method you can use. I slowed it down on purpose so that the radio chatter actually comes through. I want Kara, am I pronouncing that properly?
Yes.
So I want Kara to actually hear the song lyrics, the DJs, and the commercials coming through. So if you hear Buy a Kia Today, I want to know that you heard Buy a Kia Today.
Okay.
The cool thing is that this is already recording. I already have it set up. So you're going to have a full recording of the entire night. And then I'm going to be writing down whatever she hears in real time because she's going to be wearing an earbud. You see why I want to know where my chatty Cathy is? So, yeah, she's going to have an earbud in, so she's going to be the only one to hear it in real time. You can play with the volume as much as you want. It's not going to mess up the recording, so if you turn it down, it's perfectly fine. So the only thing you need to worry about, you'll have to untwist the earbuds, but your volume button is right here. It's the wheel. So I'm going to turn it all the way down, so that way when you put your earbud in, it's not going to be relaxed.
Okay.
So, and I don't want earbuds back because your earwax is gross. So
It is
that.
gross. I totally agree. Just
Everybody
had
does.
that conversation with a bunch of stickers.
Where? In the sky?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. Don't get ahead of me.
I'm just okay.
I got to get these gals back in line, right?
I know, yeah.
Good luck with that.
This is kind of like being on a field trip. All right, let's.
So, last device that I'm going to be handing out anyway. So you guys have probably, do you guys watch the paranormal TV shows?
I have
Not in a
some.
while,
I have.
but I have.
It's been a while.
Okay, so in a nutshell, you guys have definitely seen these on the TV shows, right? The EMF meters, little blinky lights, supposed to detect when ghosts are around. Yeah, counts those. So we're going to be going a little bit more technical. So this is a digital electromagnetic field reader. So the top numbers, anything above 2.5 is the second green dot on that device. This one's way more accurate, and we're going to talk more about those readings later on. But I do want to know anything you see above 2.5.
Okay.
And we use that to kind of debunk things really, really fast.
Okay.
The bottom number is ambient temperature. So in the event that Cathy finds something on her camera, you and I can prove it or just debunk it pretty quickly with the ambient temperature based on the yellow probe at the top.
Okay.
The last thing that it has is a REM pod, meaning it's a motion sensor. If anything gets close to that antenna, it's going to go off. I'm not touching it right now. The closer it gets, the higher the pitch, and obviously we have an array of colors in there. We're going to talk more about those at our first stop. So again, I'm going to turn that part off for now. Just focus on those red numbers.
Okay. Well, when the ambient temperature, what's the important number there?
We only use that as a at the ready kind of tool in the event she finds something in real time.
Okay, so don't worry about it.
Not necessarily.
Top
It's all
number
about
2.5.
You got it. So the last thing that I'm going to be pulling out, that I'm going to be using, other than me taking notes of everything that you guys are doing in real time, I'm going to be using a spirit box that I love to use. Where the hell did it go? So I normally have a separate device for this, but last night I used my phone too because it was a smaller group. So this is going to give us a set of words in the middle of the screen from time to time. So this is a phone app. This thing is meant to try to scare people. It's mostly bullshit. So 80% of all of the terms that are going to come up are garbage. However, it's going to save all of those terms to a list. They all have timestamps next to them. In the event something is relevant to the location of where we are, a person in history we're discussing, or even something going on with one of you, I'll obviously make note of it and then give you the backlink to be able to verify the information. Again, I'm not making shit up out here. I do it so that way you guys have a lot more information to continue the investigation. So I'm going to clear out last night because they already have theirs. The average is about 70 to 90 terms, average for a 2-hour time span. Obviously, tourists have gone over that, but this will just be running, and I'll pull it out from time to time just to kind of see where we're at with it. So again, most of that is about 80% bullshit.
Okay. As long as you're
Okay.
honest.
Can you
Yeah,
take a
I'm
picture
always honest.
first?
Thank
Yes.
you. Okay.
You didn't bring a selfie stick?
Yeah, no.
No.
We're old.
I used to actually carry one around because when I first started this, everybody wanted to. And I'm like,
The flash should come on when we.
did you hand me an iPhone?
I sure did.
Oh,
Ah, come on,
God, I
babe.
thought I felt ickiness in my hands. Do
You'll survive.
you have a flash on here?
I think it's
It's
automatic.
already on.
I think it's automatic.
You know what's funny is your camera, Angie, is giving off a little bit of purple orbs because of the lights. That is so awesome.
Woo.
I'm gonna take another one.
Oh, okay, wait, hold on.
You always want to take two.
Thank you.
I just look at how the camera gave the purple orbs.
Oh, that's cool. We'll
So-
just tell people that we already had a visitor.
There you go.
Woohoo!
Have at it. So there's a reason why we start here. So let's break right into it.
Okay.
So Big John's behind me.
Yes.
Of course, it's haunted. That's why we start there.
Oh, perfect.
We went to the bathroom.
You like the
and
close
then-
talker, aren't you? Every time I turn around, she's like right there.
Well, I think she's trying to be near the little satchels.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. She is a close talker.
No, I'm kidding.
that actually sounded. Never mind.
I know. That did sound
I can
bad.
make jokes too, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
But Big John's. This place actually used to be owned by a football player. His name was Big John Kennedy. So, oh, by the way, cameras. Now the people do not like to be filmed, and they don't like their cars to be filmed. So, in certain spaces, I'll do kind of like a Andy's Coming, like Toy Story, where you will actually point your camera directly at the ground. Perfect. And then you will be playing with a cell phone and not looking like a YouTuber. So, which is going to be very difficult, short lady. Short lady. Because she's going to be like, "What's going on up there?"
What do you mean? I can't.
So again, people don't know what we're doing out here. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty well known, but tourists don't know what the hell we're doing. So we're going to be in spaces where there will be parked cars. So I'll give you forewarnings every single time we hit a space like that. So back to Big John.
For my 44-degree little area is what I was
You were
looking
pointed
for.
right at the sky.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why it was 44 degrees up there. But
it's actually
Big John actually played for the football team, the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm giving you the history of a location, I will always slow down on keywords for the spirit boxes, of course. So we only have your spirit box and mine in play tonight. So you would be listening for terms like 47, New York, Giants, John, and anything relatable to a bar, because this was his place. He used to sit in the back of the bar, at the bar, drinking away. And he would warn the bartender of the cadets coming over from the Citadel if they were old enough to drink or not, because John knew everybody. He was from here. So, one night, two guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. John has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty pissed off, and they come back the next night and try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. When John sees what's going on, he slams down his beer. I'm sure it's spilled everywhere, and he gets up and he starts beating the hell out of these guys, just pounding them right into the floor. A couple of gunshots go off. John gets shot in the neck.
Oh.
Yeah, and the bullet lands behind him in the wall. So he's not dead. So John gets up. He's the only one that's been shot, by the way. And he goes back to the bar and he tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the two guys on the floor in an ambulance. So what's the whole point of this story is normally you think of a haunted building, somebody died here, some tragic happening, right? It's the bullet hole. Allegedly, it's still here. This is a new renovation of Big John's, so even if they filled it in, Big John's blood is in this building because the bullet grazed his neck and then went into the wall. So after they pulled that bullet hole out, I'm sure they did not get every single drop of blood out of that wall. People that sit in the front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. This is your heated warning that if anybody feels any of those symptoms throughout our time together, I need to know immediately. This is the scariest thing I'm going to tell you all night long. It is a very big deal so we can move the whole group and get that person to safety. Is that fair?
Fair.
Again, I do take this very seriously, even though we joke around a
So
lot.
is it nausea, headache?
Nausea, headache, dizziness.
Okay.
So, light symptoms. Get any worse than that, and I have to call paramedics, obviously we have something else going on. It's happened. Just going to put it out there.
Okay.
So, have any of you ever been here before?
I have. Yeah.
Okay, so what you should know is if you do take other tours, every tour guide is going to tell you about the big earthquake of 1886. We all talk about it because it's South Carolina. We're not supposed to have earthquakes. This building, Big John's, was allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. Now, with that said, hey, how are you? The mantle you see in the middle of the building, the white bar going all the way across, also goes around on the front side of the building. During the earthquake, a piece of it broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head, and they say it killed him, and you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. Notice I said apparently and allegedly a lot with that? I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the tour, even though I just brought it up again. Yes, that's a joke. Y'all were supposed to laugh.
Oh.
Good job. So, is everybody ready to go ghost hunt instead of standing on a
I
street
have a
corner?
question.
Yes.
Okay, when
I
it
gotta
goes
get
to a
out this-
higher
I'm
number,
getting
what does
itchy.
that mean?
It's sweeping through every FM radio station in a loop. It's going to go through them thousands of times tonight.
Okay.
So it
Does
doesn't.
it really mean anything?
No.
Okay.
So what was my in the sky, just because the sky is colder up there, the atmosphere?
We're going to talk about that at the next time.
Okay.
Again, it's getting ahead of me. Let's do this. We're going to go this way.
Am I supposed to see like little floating orbs or anything? Mm-hmm.
He'll be here very shortly.
It's all got quiet all of a sudden.
We're watching our
We're focused.
All right, we're gonna stop here.
Okay.
So, this is, you have to imagine when I have 10 people out here, they each have a different type of device, so I have to explain them a little bit further with hands-on experience, other than, here's what it does, here you go. So, this is why we stop here. That's the big red barn lot where we keep the horses for carriage rides.
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah,
they
we
can
saw
hear
that.
us. So that's why we use earbuds for spirit boxes now, because they don't like the white noise. And when I have the lasers out, there's a lot of rules with lasers. So with this being a lively bunch, I was not breaking out the lasers tonight.
I think that was a nice
The
way
lasers don't record anything.
But
Except
they
when-
could have been pretty.
They're very pretty, but they get Nick in a lot of trouble because there is a laser law in Charleston. So I
We
only
would
break them out.
never have gotten you in trouble.
I only break them out when there's a full group of 10. Like that's like the last thing that I actually bring out.
Yeah,
so-
that's kind of smart.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very seldom, and they definitely do not go to anybody under the age of 18, just because they can set off
We
fire
are
alarms.
so way far away from 18.
It's just a few years.
Get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really get it?
We're celebrating our 50th
right.
fucking birthday, okay? Yeah.
Just gonna keep harping on that birthday.
Yeah.
So the only history here is really simple because I have to explain 10 different devices when I have 10 people. This big red barn is where we kept horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. That's the only history I got. 1860s and 1920s.
Oh,
So let's
I
talk
don't know
about.
what I just did.
Ooh,
I don't know.
this thing is being. I've never seen it act like this.
Happy see.
Okay.
All right, so spirit boxes. I need you.
Yeah.
This is not a Ouija board. This is not television. This is not, is somebody here? Because that's what everybody wants to ask. If somebody says no, that means somebody's here.
Okay.
So we're going to stay away from yes or no questions all night long.
Okay.
So a couple of things with that, kind of so how everybody knows what we're listening for on this when you guys get your recording back tomorrow morning. In a space like this, I would normally say we're going to ask questions that you already know the answer to. For example, if somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, we're going to be looking, because I'm using a word list, and she's listening for the color red. However, you're waiting for song lyrics and DJs to convey a message back to us. The word red might not be there, but fire truck, blood, heart might be. Those three things are specifically red. I would take that as an acceptable answer. However, most of the night, I'm going to require that there's two kind of happenings going on to be able to verify what's actually going on with her spirit box. What is going on with that light? Where is it coming
It's
from?
on his bike.
It's not me.
Oh.
It's his bike.
Gotcha.
It's a die on
Okay.
a bike, I think.
Just wondering where it was coming from. So, for example, if you hear the number 40 and I have the word art on my word list while we're standing here, those two things don't mean anything by themselves, but if you put them together, we have Art Faircloth that was number 40 on Big John's team. Did you guys see where we're going to be putting clues together all night long?
Yes.
So you guys are all educated. I'm sure you can appreciate that, where I'm not going to say,
That
oh,
we
wow, we
are.
have art. You know, big deal. Like, I don't know what the hell that means. That can mean a piece of artwork for all
But
I know.
I would not have known 40 in art. I would not.
But that's my job, to piece it all
Okay.
together for you.
I was like,
But that's where, like, when I have 10 people, like, we spread out, and I literally walk around with my little nerdy notebook, and I take notes from everybody and see if there's anything that's actually starting to match up. And I'm very honest, like, most nights, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. On most nights where there's smaller groups, like 2 to 3 people, there's not much going on because I don't have enough devices that can be manned.
Right.
So, again, the more devices, the better. That's why I go out to 10. That's why I carry 10 different devices with me. A lot of times, it's very easy to piece things together from 5 different spirit boxes, along with any motion that we caught with the lasers on that camera. We have a heat signature that's a little out of norm, and the readings from your device just go bonkers. So, that's how you're going to be using your spirit box all night. Most people only use one earbud, but that's completely up to you. If you're going to play with the volume to turn it down to hear me at the same time, that's perfectly fine too.
The volume is right here, right?
Yep, right next to the button. So if you hit the button, let me know. That means I have to restart the recording and then splice them together. Let's see, cameras. All right, let's start with yours because you have a lot of questions. So I can already see it. You're going to try to do 2 things for us tonight. You're going to try to keep one of us in view. I know I told you to keep people out of view, but that means other people that didn't sign up for this.
Okay.
So we all signed up for it. The reason being is because we're going to be the warmest thing out here. We're going to be 97 to 99 degrees in skin temp. The average temperature out here right now tonight is about 69 to 71 is what I'm guessing.
Yep.
So with that, it's going to give us that array of color on the screen, so that way it's a lot easier to find the colder spots when something of 97 degrees is also in the picture. So kind of keep that in mind.
Okay.
Try to keep the sky out of view. The reason being is that blue dot I told you all about that bounces around the screen, there's no surface. It's looking for one. So it automatically defaults to the sky when it's in view. So there's going to be some spaces it's going to be impossible to keep the sky out of view. Just do your best.
Okay.
But again, I have a feeling that thing's going to like pop out again in some way, shape, or form. And I just don't think I have like the little thing that like rolls out
I'll
for it
just
to
try to
plug in.
keep my hand over
Yeah.
here.
But the circle on your left-hand screen, you should have a square right now. Means it's recording, so don't pay attention to the timer. It will stop from time to time. It doesn't mean anything, just because you moved the camera in a funky way and it didn't like it.
Make sure.
Yep, you're recording.
Okay.
Your camera.
Yes.
Slow movements. The slower you are, the better. We will do a couple of things, like in certain spaces where I might say we're going to leave you behind for 25 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
Not funny, Dick, not funny.
But I might say that you're going to be the last one out of a space, just so that you can turn around and get us a view for a minute or two of certain spaces.
Okay.
So again, we won't be filming
We'll
cars.
be able to see you though.
So when I'm am I supposed to be like scanning or just in front of me or what?
However you want to do it.
Well,
Whatever
what
you think
helps
is
you
gonna,
the best?
Standing still and watching.
Okay.
And basically watching everybody else work. Now, with us as a smaller group, we're all going to stay together. We are not going to be spreading apart at all. So I want you guys to all see how these devices react in certain things. And if you want to intermingle your devices because you're all one party, feel free to do so. I actually encourage that. The only thing is if somebody's going to take that spirit box, I do carry extra earbuds with me, so just let me know. Again,
we'll share earwax.
You're good.
I mean, they're
All
sleeping
about the
together.
mag wax.
We have shared so much more than that.
Just saying.
We will be sleeping together tonight.
She's my babe.
Except for your REM pod. Let's talk about that because it gets pretty active at the next spot. So have you seen any numbers on your screen?
Yeah,
yet?
it went up to 5 point something at one little point when we were walking up here.
Walking on this street over here. It's from the parking meters on the sidewalks. Our electrical lines for that are underneath the sidewalk, and it usually goes anywhere between 2 to 6 milligauss, just so you have that idea. I will debunk that a lot tonight, just because I'm like, ignore those readings.
Okay.
So let's pull up your antenna. There you go, that one. I turn the device around so you can see the back. There you go. There's a little flap. You're going to lift it up this way. Yes, you're doing all the work because it's kind of funky. It doesn't stay up. It's very loose.
Oh, okay.
So there's 2 little white buttons back there.
Yep.
The one on the right, closer to the edge, is the one you want. Press it into the device. It doesn't click up or down. It goes into it. First, I gave this device to the lady with the nails. Perfect.
Hold it down. Let it go.
Until it clicks. So you're good. So let go of it. Now turn the device around slowly because it's going to be bright. Nope, you didn't leave it on. So go back. Click it into it. It'll lay flat when it's clicked into place properly. That sounds better. Turn it around. Yes. Oh, super bright. So basically what you just did was you created another EMF field that's not being measured here, so that way we don't get false positives.
Okay.
And your motion made it go off. There's a way to reset it so we don't have false positives all night long. Where your thumb is, there's 4 buttons.
Okay.
The very bottom one is the one you want. Every time that thing goes off, click that button.
Okay.
And then stand still.
Okay.
So that way, if your motion, because you might talk with your hands, or even every step, it's going to go off and jostle a little bit. Now, so far we've had straight 2 blue readings. I'm actually waiting to see if it's going to go back to that, because that would be a perfect example of like it's not from your motion, it went to blue again for whatever reason.
Okay.
So I use this as kind of a call and answer as well. So what I mean by that is like if somebody's here, make this device go to blue, make this box give me the blue light. So that way they have to go so close to make it go to blue, kind of thing.
Okay.
But click it, perfect. So again, your thumb should be clicking that thing pretty much all night long.
So I'm gonna leave that on all night.
Not necessarily. There'll be certain spaces I'm like, yeah, that's annoying, let's shut it down.
I'm ready in case it goes to blue.
Right now.
So you keep going to blue, which is very, well, now you're getting oranges, and I'm going to have to write those down because you keep getting the same reading over and over again. That's something going on. I don't know what it is. But do you have any numbers on your screen? Okay. It's weird, it keeps going to orange and you have no readings. So those 2 things work independently, just so you know. You can have a reading on one and not the other. And that happens quite often because there are 2 different types of EMF fields. So weird, it keeps going back to orange. But I'm seeing a pattern as well. Give us a different color if you're actually here and that's you making things move. Give us purple.
Purple?
You have to get a little bit closer for it to go to purple.
No, not you, Kara.
Purple.
They're
Kara.
not in the box
Purple.
Back up, Kara.
Alright, I say we go deep dive into history other than football players and ponies. What does everybody think?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Now that everybody's got it. Alright, turn that little white thing off because it'll be annoying if I'm trying to talk to you.
Okay.
She looks very official.
She's moving slow. That's what she's supposed to do. I gotta go potty.
Smell the horses. I do too.
I can't go slow.
What?
If we're walking fast, I can't be completely still.
You see a lot of heat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Hang on, let me go scan just to make sure.
All right.
So do I turn my white button on now?
No, wait till I get to the history because I'll be interrupted 1,000 times.
Okay.
It's kind of how this rolls. So this is obviously another beautiful side of Charleston. You're in a parking lot. Yay for you. So if you guys don't know where to park by the time I'm done with you, I don't know how to help you. But this space used to be something. This is where we're going to start deep diving into your devices quite a bit. This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. So their mansion actually sat in the front of this lot facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across, basically where that number...
Five Church. Sorry.
You're good. Again, a little fancy for my taste. I don't eat out. But anyway, we are back where the servant and slave quarters were for the home. Just so you know, that's where we're standing right now. So I like to give you that layout. And just so you know, I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse.
Thank you.
So, like what we did with the Red Barn, you'll get the answers from your spirit boxes. I will withhold information purposely so that we all have a genuine experience. You can also take an earbud and share it with somebody else, so that way it's kind of nice to verify what you heard in real time as well. Sorry, you just had like this weird little thing. I figured out it was a sign. But anyway, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. You see why I look for secondary clues? That's 3 different Charleses I just mentioned. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution
I've
for
heard
South
the word
Carolina.
Charles then 3 times.
You heard 3 times? Or you heard Charles, Charles, Charles?
I heard Charles then 3 times.
Interesting. Very cool stuff. See, this is the kind of shit I live for. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for us. I hate politics more than you. We're going to move on. If I don't mention it, usually we get something like that, like the word signers, written, paper, something along those lines. But anyway, Eliza and Charles got married at a young age. If you want to find out what age, it's not going to be the colonial time ages that you would think of where she came from. It's not going to be like 12 and 14. It's according to today's standards, which at that time she would have been considered an old maid. So while she's listening and asking questions, like we're all going to be asking questions, and hopefully she's going to be able to interpret them. The reason I bring this up is because Charles, her husband, was over double her age when they married. So pretty big age gap for colonial times, even for today's standards, really. But anyway, she married him because her father, over in England, thought he was dying. And he wanted to see all of his kids one last time. So he wanted to bring them all home to England, and Eliza wasn't going because she didn't think he was dying. She was in love. 1744. She married Charles not because out of spite for her father or for a green card or anything like that, because we're not even a country yet. She did marry him out of love. And Dad got better. Dad starts sending gifts apologetically from England to this space. Now, you've been in town for at least an hour that I know of. You all flew in today or drove in today. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. One of the gifts that he sent over to her were the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. Most of you have it on tonight. That's how we still use it. And when she got those indigo seeds, she didn't know what the hell she was doing with them, so she had to learn from her slaves on how to keep it cultivated, because it's not always hot here, as you all know. So when she figured it out, she moves it to a plantation up north in Mount Pleasant, calls her dad and says, rice plantations are going to shit. We can actually make a killing off of this indigo. We now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. So, that's the business of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. Right? You want the weird stuff. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza Charles. Back then.
Oh,
Yeah. It's either really smart or really stupid, depending on how you look at it. And it was only 5 months apart. The first Eliza passes away in January. He marries this Eliza.
How old was first Eliza?
I don't know.
Would she die at?
I don't have a specific answer, and I don't even think there is a specific answer, because I want to say I looked into that. She's always getting ahead of me on stuff.
Yeah, I just think I've heard the word Eliza and Charles 10 times. In the word Bible.
They were all very religious. So yeah, second wife. Ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. If we want to find out which Eliza we're dealing with, we're going to ask what her maiden name is. Sometimes it'll show up on my spirit box, it might show up on hers, or we actually have 3 pieces of audio tonight as EVPs. So we have your audio, your audio, and then mine is sitting on my shoulder. So we never know where the answer is actually going to go. That's why I say the media review is super important. The mansion's not here anymore. We can ask what happened to it. Obviously, it's a tragedy of some sort, and then we can kind of get into what year that actually happened, and hopefully we'll get an answer. So that's a very specific question, as I'm sure you guys are noticing how we're going with this. The children, I told you there's at least one, Charles, that she's already heard the name 3 times. But there are more children. We can ask how many and what their names are, and that's it. The reason why is because there's a tragedy among those children. We don't poke the bear. If we do that, have you had a reading yet on your red screen? Normally,
Like 0.2.
okay, yeah, if we're getting decent readings, all activity will stop, including the readings on Tracy, right? Yeah, look at me. So, I know, 4 people, I should be able to get this right.
It just went to 2.2.
Wait, hold on.
I know, we're in our,
Okay. We're good. Okay, okay.
What's wrong?
I was just getting back in order.
no.
Oh,
I got the
Okay.
names. So where was I? Other children, again, names and how many, that's it. We're just going to leave that one alone. We don't poke the bear. Let's see. Eliza's death is where she's really open. We can ask what she died from, how old she was when she died, where she's buried, and what U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Oh,
I don't think I have to
Eliza was
explain
somebody.
Yeah, she was. I don't think I have to explain what a pallbearer is to this group. It's
Yeah,
really
we're
cool.
good.
You'd be surprised. Adults that don't know what a pallbearer is. It happens. So yeah, we're going to work together just because there's a lot of cars in here tonight, so we're going to kind of stick together and away from the vehicles. Again, if somebody's going to their vehicles, both of you know what to do with your cameras. You're both recording already. So these cars actually belong to like employees down here, so they like to take
that's
their breaks
mine.
in their cars. You guys parked here?
Yeah,
Oh,
we didn't know where else to park.
Princess Leia.
okay.
There she is.
So we'll show me your car.
Sure, perfect. I don't have a problem with that.
So let's get that REM pod, the motion sensor turned on, so that's your little white button in the back. And I guess first things first, have you heard anything else besides Charles 3 times? And then you said you heard Eliza?
Eliza and the her Bible. I've heard 11.
11. That's good. I'm going to explain why at the end. So I don't reveal any
Feels
answers.
all like,
I did good.
She did. You did. So Charles 3 times. As a quote.
They're the
Bible.
word son.
11. So I'll be honest, 2 nights ago, we had 3 different spirit boxes basically asking us to leave. Yeah. So it was kind of an uncanny thing, and I normally come back and make my peace when that happens, because I do have a disembodied EVP that just says, just leave us alone. That was over a year ago, and it went over 11 different radio stations. So I have the software to be able to count like how many blips it actually goes over, and it was definitely disembodied, came from this space, just leave us alone. So the other night, they had actually heard we don't want him here, and then the spirit box word list said leave, and I can't remember what the other one said, but those 2 were very like distinctive of like,
It just said it sure is.
it sure is. Yeah, she's gonna be good at that. Did you guys notice how she kind of quieted down when I gave her that? Why have you guys come early?
And it
so
just
I can
said
find-
it sure is again. I mean, it said it twice, and it's different voices.
Yeah, I don't care about the voices. It's all about whatever the message is. So I'm going to check the word list and kind of see where we're at. What do you got?
3.9.
Okay, we'll take it. That's a good start. Anything above 3.9 at this point, because I don't want to write down 1,000 numbers, so we're just going to escalate it.
Okay.
So I will also tell you, just so you guys know what those readings are coming off of Tracy's device, behind your television set you have a bunch of wires, right? If that's about 40 to 60 milligauss, depending on how many things you have going on back there. So that kind of gives you that roundabout number. And then your microwave running on high and you're standing next to it with the door shut is about 150 to 170 milligauss. So it can be dangerous levels. The highest reading I've ever had out of that device came from this space, 214. Like I had to step away just to make sure I wasn't going to be influenced, by it. But it was very quick. I was talking to the user, and we both seen 214 come across the screen. I'm like, are you shitting me? Like I had to step away. I mean, the epilepsy, I can't make that risk. So anything that high, I get a little nervous with because it is dangerous levels. I don't have anything that I can see. Oh, I will tell you. So the word 20th showed up. Big John's number was 20. His first jersey number was 20. It'll be interesting if I actually hear his second number, because it's not that simple of a number. Like it's
The words that are sticking out right now is discussions and federal.
and
Federal.
federal. Got it.
Like
Well,
federal
I think these were
list?
all politicians, so it's not
Yeah.
uncommon to get. So let's kind of walk around a bit. I want to find some good spikes.
right.
yours, now that we all know the history.
So, should I just be holding it and walking, or do
You
I
got
need
it.
to be doing anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
You're a camera person. You can watch it. That would be great.
I am. I'm just mostly filming y'all.
Ooh, I got 6.3.
6.3.
Nothing super exciting, so let's be as still as
Turn it
possible.
off?
No, we're going to leave it on for sure. That's good. Eliza, we want to know what year the fire happened on your mansion. Tell us what year that fire happened. Or you can give us the month that happened, because you've already given us the day. You heard 11. Yeah, I know, but that's the day. That's why I was excited. But that thing's sensitive to you, huh? Again, anything above 6.3 at this point is what I want to know. So,
It's still like
Eliza, can you tell us what year the fire happened on your mansion? Or if you want to tell us what month that was? Or if you just want to prove that you're here, you can make Tracy's box go to red. You know how that thing works. Just touch the metal stick coming out of it. Show us the fire on this box. See how it kind of uses different colors to... If I'm working with a child first, I just tell them to show me their favorite color. You know, it's one of those instances. What else are you hearing?
Fire.
You heard fire? It's pretty common. What month did that fire happen? Kathy, you got anything weird going on?
No,
You just studying?
Just looking. Getting all the data for you.
So no readings at all?
3.
Blue is pretty prominent. It's coming up over here.
That's happening when it's like 0.
Yeah, there's nothing underneath us. They've never done an archaeological dig.
That's interesting.
What, the fact that they've never done a dig here?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that my wife and I are thinking about doing, which is the next escalation of what we're doing out here tonight, is to actually have a shop where we sell the gear, books on the paranormal, but have a haunted hotel upstairs.
Ooh.
And as kind of like a haunted Airbnb, everybody gets the equipment, you get an hour with me of how to use it, and then you still get the data back the next
Yeah,
day.
I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't want to sleep with the ghosts. I just want to chat with them.
Well, it'll be a one-nighter Airbnb. Like, that's...
Yeah, no, I'm
so if they
kidding.
can make
I
it
was-
through the night, like, that's the whole point. Most
Yeah.
people are going to stay up. But I want this particular lot because they've never done a dig here.
Ooh.
And to have the artifacts of whatever they find underneath before we build something that represents the Pinckney Mansion that was here, it's
That
only
would
going to
be
cost
cool.
me about $20 million. That's all.
Only.
He doesn't like what you're saying.
Why?
He's making a beeping noise there.
Hmm.
He doesn't like what you're saying.
Charles, we're going to actually make it look like the house you built. You know my ideas. We talk about it all the time. There's a couple other properties we're looking at, but we looked into this one specifically. Just
Well,
because-
yeah, no, this would make sense.
Yeah. But once you, I'm going to show you a picture of the mansion. You're going to see why it would be so difficult to do.
So was all
He don't
this
like
other
it.
stuff
He's
around
giving
here?
Loud beeping noises.
What is that again?
I said, what did it look like when their mansion was here? Was
I'm
this-
going to show you
Okay.
when I reveal all the answers. You said loud beeping noises?
Yeah, several.
Eliza, can you touch this metal stick right here? Make it go to red for us?
Oh, I saw it. Was that not red?
No, it was green.
No, but there was another flash. Maybe it was orange.
Orange, I think, is right next to green. I normally don't ask for red specifically, but we're talking about the fire, so I thought I would at least get something representative of it. I normally go after blue because of the indigo, and she's already given us that several times. Going to the other side, there's not really much going on up here, other than the angry beeping noises. Kara's
I
got.
don't like that at all.
No other readings as you walked across?
No.
Okay. Alright. So unfortunately it sounds like whatever that was influencing the other night is still not being as much as active as I was hoping for. We have a couple of good terms out of you, obviously.
No time.
No time, is that what it
No
said? Yeah. They're not. I gotta come back and so I'm gonna take us back to the back of the lot again. Cameras, go ahead and stop your videos. So
I
get your
for the number one. Very specifically number one. The surprise.
No, I don't have to do anything on mine, but just put it down.
no, yours. Go ahead and hold it up. There's a lid. I'll stop it for you from time to time.
And there was a red light on.
You're not hitting that button.
I don't know either.
There you go. You're good.
Okay.
So just nice and still. And again, don't act like a YouTuber. So when people are going through this alley, you're gonna obviously be very discreet because they didn't sign up to be filmed. You did. So this place is called Philadelphia Alley. That's easy for me to remember because that's where Eliza's buried. However, we named it that after a city that helped us out of one of our many, many fires financially, Philadelphia. But we also had to rename it because dueling became illegal and stupid. So this used to be called Jeweler's Alley. So this is where the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. Every ghost tour tells the same story. I tell it a little bit differently because we're ghost hunting. It's not just a ghost story. So I haven't checked my word list, but I will definitely check it after I'm done talking here because this is where things are going to start to stir up for us, hopefully, and not getting kicked out of the Pinckney Mansion site. Like, I just was not comfortable there tonight. I don't know why. But anyway, let's talk about this duel. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because his fiancée, Amanda, just inherited a shit ton of money and from her dead parents. So she has an attorney that's helping her out with this cash flow. The attorney thinks the doctor is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He moves to Charleston to prove that he's not. So as he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a very good start to his stay in Charleston. But somebody walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. And I'm going to stop there for a second because initials mean something when you're ghost hunting. Oftentimes we'll just get letters or initials. Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. R.I., Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. So when R.I. shows up here, those are the two main characters of this story. I need a secondary clue so that way I can actually find who it actually belongs to. Charleston can get very loud and we attract a lot of weird people. Just putting it out there.
Well, we're here, so we get it.
Yeah, but you guys have been pretty hip and cool to things. They're not going to be. But anyway, back to Ralph. He says, dude, you don't want to stay here. He didn't really say dude because it's the 1700s. You don't want to stay here because there's a gunman inside. This guy's going to try to kill you. But I got some friends at 59 Church Street. That's actually the next street up. He said, you can rent a room from them and you'll be safe. So the doctor takes him up on the offer and Ralph and the doctor become friends. The doctor's practice starts to take off. He's making his own money and proving his point that he didn't need Amanda's money. He's making his own, and Amanda will be moving down soon from Rhode Island. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Very cliche. Every haunted city you guys will ever visit has a whistling ghost. Ours is a doctor, so kind of go with it. So here's what happens. Ralph and the doctor go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor's making a hell of a lot more money now. So he gets better seats. They talk about these plays on their way back home. They start arguing one night after going seeing William III. The doctor thought the new actress in town was fantastic, but Ralph, not so much. He didn't care for her at all. It gets pretty heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. So the doctor gets pissed off, Ralph gets pissed off, they go their separate ways. Ralph is from here. He has friends at the newspaper. He goes to put an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. The doctor sees the ad and says, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Let's just settle this and be done with it. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to prove a point that he's willing to forgive, and he had the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. Ralph has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor, because they're using basically flintlocks at this point, 1700s. So the doctor doesn't die either, and Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed. So the doctor drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, they carry him home to 59 Church Street where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. Remember, he's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed it out himself. So, the ghost story part of this is they say as you walk through this alley, and you can see how gorgeous it is and very quiet, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. If you guys decide to go down there and turn on your voice recorders on your phones and test it out, remember that every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street on the other side throws a whistle right down the alley. I do it every single night on my way back home. We're going to end on Church Street. My garage is right there. I have to pass the alley. When my 15-year-old daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle down there first. And we do that because my daughter was with me the night I got kicked out. So you guys ready for this part of the story? Kara? Yes, I thought I'd
No, this is a good part.
So, this alley didn't always come all the way through. So, it was kind of blocked off on this side. So, the bricks on the other side of the alley are older. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. They had to turn them to basically get them to bake in the sun. There's a full handprint and some fingerprint swipes in those bricks at the other end. And I always used to show them off, especially with diverse groups, to show how far we've come. However, everybody wants to throw a spirit box or an EMF detector or something around that brick, and I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. They're not there. That kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. And one night, my entire team, November 26th of 2020, yes, the date is very specific and relevant, they're all huddled around this brick, what's outside a gentleman's dining room window. Wasn't very happy with Torres walking by his brand new mansion that he just bought. So, come out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting in trouble. And November 27th, I continued my tour the rest of the space. The rest of the night was really weird too. It was very crazy. November 27th of that year was Thanksgiving, so I didn't have a tour. I'm the new guy on the block. I'm going to take a night off. So, November 28th, I get a phone call in the morning from the tourism office asking me to either reroute my tour or go down halfway, which is how far we're allowed to go. At Lodge Alley, when we came out, if we would have made a left coming out of the alley, that's residential. We're not allowed there. So again, we get tickets, fined, possibly shut down. So I took the heated warning and I said, fine, I'll just reroute the tour. I'm the new guy, I'm still learning things out here, and I played the dummy card. So I rerouted the tour on that night, and not knowing much about the story I didn't even believe in. I'm not a pirate person, I'm a vampire guy through and through, so I'm like, we're gonna go talk about pirates. So on the way, somebody hears the name Anne on one of the spirit boxes. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. So I didn't tell them we were about to discuss the female pirate Anne Bonny. We get there and somebody else hears the number 300. I have no idea what 300 means. So the next morning I'm doing the research. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her trial. This is shit I can't make up. I'm a good writer, but I'm not that good. Like, to the point where I can make stuff up like this. So the fact that I got booted out of here was almost a blessing. Now, that will be our last stop. We're going to go around the corner. We're going to talk about a few other things and kind of see what's going on up there by the cemetery. Actually, a pretty light tour night with everybody. I think I'm the only guy working tonight, which is kind of cool, right? But at any rate, that will be our last stop. But it is a hit or miss. Either she's there or she's not. So it's a matter of, like, we're either going to have a ton of stuff coming through or we're not going to have anything at all. We'll pretty much know after 5 minutes of me telling you the crazy story about Anne Bonny. And I've probably read, I don't know how many books on this one woman alone and about that age. So that way that I can make this as accurate as I possibly can, because it's pirates. Nothing is very accurate. So you kind of have to tie things together and see where it all comes up. So, have you heard anything along since we've been standing here? You've been focused on me getting kicked out of the alley.
I heard the word jury,
I'm not surprised.
the word island.
Rhode Island. So, I'm good with that. Like, that's good stuff. I'll have to listen for the word road. Hopefully that shows up somewhere else. So, you have island.
Oh, and the word pain.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think that's a big one there, too. So, Philly, you have jury.
Jury, though. Jury came right after you told your story.
Well, what's interesting is Ralph Isaacs was an attorney. So we'll actually get the term attorney. So jury, pain, and island.
Which I found interesting because you talked about it. And it was the island came before you told about the pirate.
So we had that, I think it was last week. It was weird because we had the term fork in the road show up as we were coming up out of Lodge Alley, and I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, maybe it's the forks and the silverware that they found from Lodge Alley. And then the word island showed up later. So we had the word road in fork in the road plus island show up consecutively. So it was kind of like a, wow, that's actually a really great tie. So those, again, you got to put this shit together.
What about the word diamond?
Yeah, that Diamonds Direct commercial. Yeah, I ignore it because it comes through so many times.
It?
Yeah, I
just heard the word diamond.
Continue to film. I don't know if you are or not. Sorry, were you waiting for praise?
Kara, your jacket's all reflective in here.
Oh.
Give it to the tallest person.
Right, yeah, got an orb about me.
I saw St. Philip's Church. Oh, is this a church?
You what?
I smell pee.
I need to go pee.
Huh?
I need to go pee.
Find something out before I have you guys have a seat. Okay, so you are freaking me out being so quiet today.
Oh, I'm
I thought
sorry.
for sure you'd be talking my ear off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just teasing. Just trying to get you guys riled up. So,
You're behaving right
past
now.
my bedtime.
You should be happy because this isn't very typical.
24. I'm usually asleep by now.
well, either I am talking really fast to keep your focus,
That's what it is.
or you
Yeah.
guys are getting bored.
No,
we're
we're
not.
not.
Okay. All
We
right.
process.
Yeah, and it's okay. I do talk very fast on purpose.
We're studious.
That's what I was going to say.
Ooh.
We are all very.
We're very
I like
into
that
this,
term.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
really
use
are.
that. So, the wall back there. That's the wall to Philadelphia Alley that we were just discussing. Notice there's a gate in the middle of it, basically a doorway. Remember the alley didn't go all the way through? In the event there was a loser to a duel, that was the shortcut to get to the cemetery behind me. Otherwise,
Oh.
they'd have to walk all the way down the Queen Street and bring the dead weight around.
Ah,
To
so
the
at least it
cemetery.
was convenient.
Yeah, well,
Well, they made it that
they
way.
made it that way. And you have to remember, they would always go celebrate the winner, whether they were a fan or not, because that means they all got to go get a pint. So again, the quicker they can get the dead weight into the grave, the quicker they can get to the tavern. So I like to point that out because not many people actually know why that gate is there, and it stays locked all the time. It does have a wrought iron gate in it, like what we're leaned on right now. You just can't see it from here. So have a seat. We're going to chill here for a minute. You're going to tell me what you heard. I'm going to check the word list. I don't think anything has really actually popped up. Let's see. I did have the name Johnny show up, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I got nothing. You got anything?
Most people waiting.
Most people waiting.
And the word long.
Long? Very interesting.
Oh, and after you told the story, I heard the word yeah or yes or something.
Yeah, I throw those away. I don't need that stuff.
I still think it's
They were
funny.
just reaffirming.
Yeah.
They were
right.
reaffirming.
You guys are gonna like next time you guys watch any of those paranormal TV shows, you're gonna see
Uh-huh.
how many yes and no questions they actually ask and start laughing because truly you're not gonna get. You know, I know it's a simple way for them to be able to answer us, but I just throw them
Well,
away.
you weren't asking a question; you were telling the stories when
Yeah.
you said it. That's why I thought
There
it
was
was funny.
another story. The one. Was it the Pinkies in the parking lot where they said something?
About what?
I don't know. I just remember it being like. I guess maybe that's when they asked us to.
Hearing and time.
Yeah, very vague stuff.
Yep.
Again, I'm honest. I'm not gonna make a mountain out of a molehill. I like the most people waiting though because I actually talk about why every ghost tour stops at the cemetery. So they all go there. I let them have it because it's their last hurrah. I'm so glad it didn't rain, by the way.
I
me
know.
too.
We have been paying
Really,
attention.
Yeah, I really haven't because I'm usually.
Because it was
If I'm
supposed
dying,
to be.
but-
I mean, it was supposed to be about. It was just at one time. It was almost 70%.
Yeah, I want to say
so.
my end it said 76 or 78. But anyway, back to why everybody goes up there. I like to point out that there's two different sides to the cemetery. So this side, the eastern side, if you belong to the church and you're from Charleston, you can get buried here. Charles and Charles, that would be the husband and the nephew of Eliza, are both buried on this side because they're both from here. Now, your 7th Vice President, John Calhoun, is across the street at the western side. He's
Oh,
not
I
from
didn't know
here.
that.
They actually shuffled his sarcophagus several times, trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. It turns out he's not from here. He just lived here a very long time. So somebody actually told me the other night, because he was a student at Clemson, that Calhoun was actually born in Clemson. So I'm like, okay. is what it is.
So where is he? He is buried here, or part of him is?
No, he's here. He's in a sarcophagus, so
Okay.
he's above ground.
Oh, okay.
But
So-
not over here with the locals.
Right, exactly. He was over here, but I think they shoveled him 3 times trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to
Is
go.
he a
Poor
good
fella.
person?
No.
Well, I just heard the word hell. That's why I wondered.
I guess.
Hi.
Sorry.
I mean, I specifically, I heard the word hell.
That's
We
funny.
do get a lot of clues lately around Calhoun, especially. I want to say he was born and his death were in March, so I want to say March was pretty active for him, and I wasn't looking for it; it just happened to pop up that way. Again, because that's the only thing I really mention is the fact that they shuffled him back and forth. I don't normally harp on it for too long, but every ghost tour goes up there because they have a show and tell. So again, it's really their big hurrahs, their big finale. Notice that everybody departed; like it wasn't the group leaving; he ended
Yeah.
the tour. They all end up there. So I usually let them have it, and then once we're done here, if it's empty like it is now, we'll go up and get a little bit of footage before we go across the street. I just try to stay out of everybody's way. I already piss everybody else off because of all my gear and gadgets and all of that stuff. But anyway, they're up there looking at a sign. It says there's no ghost at St. Philip's besides the Holy Ghost. So they don't want people like me and us to go up there trying to recreate what happened. So here's what happened. 1888, a young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. Now, we talked about initials with Ralph, and this is very cheesy, very campy. Sue Howard Hardy. I've had it come up several times in the past 3 years I've been giving this tour. So I can't deny what I'm actually seeing and hearing. When I say see, it's on the word list. So it's just weird. But anyway, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very abrupt ending, I know, but in 1987, a local photographer is taking pictures of all of our cemeteries. He captures a full apparition in one of his photographs. It's 1987. He doesn't have the tech that we have now. So he has to send it to Kodak. Oh, I don't have to explain what Kodak is. So the kids look at me and
we
they think
know
it's a
that.
bear. Like, it's the craziest thing. But anyway, it happens all the time. But he sends it to Kodak. Kodak doesn't know what to do with this picture. For guys like me, this thing is gold. However, it is cursed. So I'm going to show it to you, but you're all ladies. It is cursed to females. In the event you're handling it, even in a digital format like a tablet or cell phone, they say you're going to get the same symptoms like what I told you about at the beginning: the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. In the event something comes up around Sue Howard Hardy's story, and I have to give you the backlink to it, I will always put warning cursed photo. This is what I do for a living. So again, I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation and then 9 months later I curse their family. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. So I'm going to show you the photograph and really zoom in on the apparition part of it so you can see the detail. But that's the reason why every ghost tour stops up there. Again, this is Ghost Hunting 101, so you're going to get a little bit of everything.
But we're not going to get cursed looking at it,
As
are
long as
we?
you don't touch it. Just don't touch
No
my tablet.
touching.
No, not touching.
No touching. That's
Yeah.
the rule.
Girl, I'm not
I
touching.
believe in that rule.
Tracy, don't try to disprove it,
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
Okay, so this is the full picture. I'm going to stand back because I know you're probably going to be tempted. This is your apparition. Those are her shoulders, top
Oh.
of her head, and the baby basket next to her. Yes, that is her grave. This is probably another instance where the baby's buried with mom.
Where's her head?
At the very top, it's like she's praying over her own grave.
Oh, I
Look at
see.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
this.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
gotcha.
I mean, it's plain as day.
Yeah.
So, again, you can see
Creepy.
the full
Whew,
photograph.
I just got like cold chills.
I know
So,
you wanted to touch it,
I've
but
actually
you're
had
not.
the term cold baby show up on spirit boxes before. I've had stillborn. I've had the baby's birth. Like the day
Aw,
of her
that
birth,
makes me
or his
sad.
because I don't even know a gender.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm actually trying to dive into where Sue and her husband Gaston lived, so that way I kind of have an edge. But the problem is that the census records for that
It's a
one
girl.
specific year. It said girl.
It's a
It's-
girl.
That's interesting because I just said I don't know whether it's a boy or a girl.
I know, but it just said the word girl, so.
That's crazy. I'm writing that one down.
You sure we're not going to be cursed by that? Because that's important.
Just telling you.
You didn't touch it, did you?
No, I didn't touch it.
Okay.
Did you get the chills?
I mean, it's
No.
no. You said we don't know the gender. I heard the
Do you
word
feel
a
sad?
girl.
That's crazy.
No.
You don't feel sad?
Oh, I'm sad about the situation, but
No, do you feel sad like right now?
no, I'm good.
I'm like, I'm sad.
Let's get your mindset going on pirates.
Alright, pirates,
I
good.
know, right? And again, I hate pirates, but I have to learn about them a lot because of everything we do out here. So do you see the burning gas lamp down there in the distance? So that's the pirate house. You can't mistake it when you're walking around town because it has a big anchor on the front of it. Somebody does live there. Like, it's a residence. So don't go in his,
Wow.
don't go in his backyard looking
Yeah,
for
I
ghosts.
won't.
He gets pissed. Don't ask me how I know. He gets mad. But anyway, with that said, and it's really neat because you think you could go back there because that's where it gets the pirate courtyard back there, and that's what it was designed for.
He doesn't want you back there.
No, that's where Blackbeard's men actually came off their ships and had a place to stay, met a few ladies, and they dug a tunnel underneath the pirate house going 1 block away to where Dock Street Theater sits now. Dock Street Theater at the time was called Planters Hotel. It was a whorehouse, it was a playhouse, and a hotel. The whorehouse was, I mean, we're talking pirates, that was the attraction. But the playhouse, pirates were our first stagehands. So they would actually go there to work in between bartering with the locals. So that tunnel was just filled in the 1990s. Why the hell it took us so long to fill it in? We're below sea level here in Charleston. It probably flooded all the time. There's also there's a couple of rumors around that tunnel.
And it also caught on fire a bunch too. Charleston, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dozens
Floods
of huge
and
fires.
fires. Yeah.
But as far as that tunnel, they say that Blackbeard actually buried some of his treasure there. I call bullshit because we all know that that treasure's in North Carolina, not South Carolina. Obviously, he was protecting something up there. They also say that tunnel went all the way out to the edge of the peninsula, which I'm going to call BS on that one too, because that's a long way for pirates to be digging their way out. When they say that was the way that they used to sneak into Charleston, you're not going to hide a pirate ship when you're in our bay.
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
just not going to happen. So I kind of call BS on that one if you really look at the logistics of it. I do buy in the fact that they were going over there to, use the tunnel to do something over there at Planters Hotel and actually, make a few extra bucks. So now that your mindset is there, have you heard anything else before we move?
Black, blue, and first.
Black, but I'm going to wait for something else to pop up. Let's go to the cemetery real quick and get some, like a minute or two of footage and see what we actually capture. I want you to turn that REM pod up when we get over there.
Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? With the here, get right up. Well, you may have to. Kathy. Oh well, you don't get it right here really well.
You can probably see where I'm going with that one. But there's a lot of key things around
The
that
light's
specific person.
flashing.
It is flashing. The funny thing is the light over here on the left-hand side was actually put there on purpose to actually shine right at the sign, so that way people don't try to recreate the photograph that I just showed you, and that they would get light flares. Now, according to the way I kind of looked at the cemetery to see which part of the cemetery she's actually on, are you getting any readings back there? Okay. I think she's over on the right-hand side of like where this sidewalk is, like right in the middle of the cemetery. So, again, we've gotten weird readings randomly on the EMF and the REM pod that Tracy's using. And again, things around Sue Howard Hardy pop up here all the time. We also get things wrapped around Charles Pinckney, the husband of Eliza. So if we get specific terms around Charles, I'm not surprised. This corner has like 15 stories wrapped around it. So I wait for whoever's using spirit boxes to kind of give me what clues I need to tell the stories to see which ones I need to tell. Otherwise, I tell the same two that I just told y'all, so that way we can get ready for our pirates. I want you to zoom in on this sign right here so everybody kind of sees that, because that's kind of a weird thing around Charleston, so everybody gets a little shot of this sign.
Kind of got a glare on it, but
That's neat looking.
What's your little thing doing?
Not much. The word list is actually pretty weak tonight. Media.
The ghost canceled because they thought it was.
What was that?
I said the ghost canceled because they thought it was going to rain.
Well, I usually joke that I can't make the ghosts do anything because they're not on the payroll. Like, that's usually my joke, is like, I have no idea what's going to happen tonight, because every night is different. But, again, you got anything crazy going on in there? I know it's kind of hard to see when you have those big bright bars showing up. What was that back there? Go back to the right. What's that light?
Was that little white?
Yeah. It's got to be that light off in the
I think
background.
so.
Okay. All right, let's go learn more about crazy pirates, because this story's a little nuts.
We'll probably be like, there's all sorts of stuff in fashion.
That's why I rate it in real time, plus what she's hearing. Remember, I'm only going to spot check.
Oh, another parking lot.
Yeah. That was the Fire of 1861. If anybody's a photo
Just said
taker,
it again.
like, this is your chance to take an amazing photograph.
That's
I know.
pretty.
Full
The
moons
church,
usually
too.
end up right on the left-hand side of the steeple, and I use that for like social media all the time because it's gorgeous. So, but yeah, that's a great pick right there. Sorry.
Will you hold my little device?
I can't.
Oh, look. Didn't really do much.
Take another one.
Oh.
Again, we're not going anywhere. This is our last stop. Actually, it's probably.
Oh, look how that took.
Did yours come out good? Oh, you might have to send me yours.
That turned out kind of neat, didn't it?
Yeah, that's a great pick. What kind of phone do you have?
iPhone.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, I took your phone earlier. So,
I have an old iPhone.
my wife, she works for Best Buy. She used to be the cell phone manager for them at one of the stores. She works from home now. But she also went to school for photography and graphic design, so she does all my book covers and all that stuff. So when you guys send me photos, I send them to her if I can't figure out what the hell's going on with it, because that's what she went to school for.
That's
A
cool.
lot of times she can debunk things pretty quickly just by looking at it. But some of them, like, we really have to dive in and see what the hell's going on with your guys' photos. I mean, it's not just from the tour. People will send me stuff from all over that we have to kind of analyze. All right, so this is a pretty popular spot, so I bring us to this back wall because this is a lengthy story. So come on back.
Is that a cross on those?
Tracy, is your REM pod still on?
It is.
Cool. Perfect. So we're going to be discussing, first off, the little tiny building up there with the crosses on it.
Oh,
First,
that's what I just said. I was like, are those crosses?
Those are not crosses,
What
actually.
are- oh, they
those are
are.
earthquake bolts. What the hell are
Oh.
earthquake bolts? If we have another earthquake, like what I mentioned at the beginning of this tour in 1886, which we haven't, by the way, you can turn those turnbuckles, because that's what they are. They're earthquake bolts on turnbuckles, and it's said to straighten the building back up again after the damage from an earthquake.
Cool.
It's a great idea, it just doesn't work.
I didn't think so, but it
No.
sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds very cool. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in. Why? Because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. This is the gunpowder magazine. Served in 7 different wars, including the Civil War. That was its last servant. It's never been attacked. And here's kind of the weird stuff. I do give you the history of the building because it's fascinating when you look at the layout. I think you guys got the gist that I love logistics, and I like to see how things were laid out. The wall we discussed earlier, the Charlestown Wall, where that parking garage is now is where the wall stood. It came up past the powder magazine and then started going south behind me towards the battery. So it locked it into the corners on purpose. And it was the furthest away it could keep it protected away from the water from 3 blocks away. If it gets attacked from a Revolutionary warship, pirate ship, those cannonballs are going to have a hard time getting through the 32-inch thick walls. That's how thick they are. We're going to pretend that that cannonball goes all the way through because it's getting attacked. There's sand in the roof that was put there in the early 1700s during its construction to go up with the explosion and then fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder.
That's
Crazy idea.
interesting.
It's another great idea, but it doesn't work either. We had another powder magazine closer to the battery. It did get attacked because it's skinnier down there. It was able to penetrate. The sand went up, but the building burned to the ground. It doesn't exist. This one has just never been attacked. It's the last existing one that we have.
Is the sand still in there?
It is. So when they were creating it into a museum, basically converting everything over, they had to do some repairs to the roof because of the age of the building, and they found that the sand is still intact because sand does not disintegrate. So yes, the sand is still there. Great question. I usually bring that up. Oh, you guys are really on top of it.
I think this one's a lot brighter than all the little.
That would be the light in the garage in the distance.
I know, but see, look, all the other lights. See how that one's a lot brighter?
Yeah. But looking at it from where I'm standing right now, it is the brightest
Right
one.
now, video now. The porta potty.
It's a good pick,
Just
though.
in case it goes.
Appreciate it. This
Sorry.
building is what I call a familiar to the ghost that we're going to be hunting here. So it's kind of like using a toy to attract a child ghost. It's the same principle. We don't have any buildings this old, plus this is in a tourism area where we are allowed to be. Again, I didn't even believe this story. You're going to find that out if you go back to the blog post for this one. I was like, this is bullshit. I'm not buying it. So anyway, this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for
That
you.
little one?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
10 years.
What'd it do?
1703 to 1713.
Just went to orange.
Oh.
It's okay. We'll take it. Is it from your movement, you think?
Maybe, I don't know. There was no numbers.
Doesn't matter. Again, they work independently.
Okay.
So I like orange. Remember to
Okay.
write that one down.
Okay.
But this took 10 years. Our story actually begins right in the middle of it. So follow me. There's a lot of twists and turns. I think this group will be just fine. I'm not
Okay.
worried about you. Seems pretty intelligent group. It's nice to have. Just gonna point that out there. 1708 is when the story begins. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She moves here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. You guys are with me so far? Oh, nice. You guys are catching on quick. So I know I'm going to have to really slow that one down. The three of them, dad, mistress, child, are getting away from his wife. You guys with me? Cool. Yeah, you guys got it. So anyway, they land in Georgetown. By the way, how pissed off was that wife? They had to leave a boat, leave their own country to get on a boat to get the hell out of Dodge. But anyway, they land in Georgetown, just north of here. It's between here and Myrtle Beach, just so you have a gist. Dad buys a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That leaves young Anne to come down here to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. Back home in Ireland, Anne was kind of a badass. When she was they say 10 or 12 years old, the numbers are very sketchy. They say she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. Sorry, birthday girl, but you were right next to me.
Wait, who killed who with a knife with a belly?
Anne killed
one
the
of her
servants.
Oh, why?
Because she's a badass.
She's total badass.
I don't think that the argument
She didn't like her
was really
pudding.
in detail. But I'd like to put that mentality of who she is as we go through the rest of the story. Let's fast forward. This building is done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne is stoked. She falls in love pretty quickly. This guy's name is James Bonney. I'm sure you guys are seeing where this one's going pretty quickly because I've already mentioned her name. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormac becomes Anne Bonney, your most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. When they get down there, this is not the swashbuckling, rum-drinking Captain Jack Sparrow she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This is not who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. I'm going to keep tally because we're a couple.
Anne got a
man.
You go, Anne.
It gets worse.
She's a badass woman.
Badass hoe. She has to make her way into piracy. So the second guy she falls in love with is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Much cooler name, has his own ship. Yes, this is the same Jack that they based Captain Jack Sparrow off of. Just so you guys know, he was kind of a quirky guy.
But he's getting in a little trouble himself right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah,
anyway, Calico Jack. He has his own ship and wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a pirate ship because girls curse pirate
bad
ships.
luck.
Yeah.
Because she bad luck.
Yep.
Yep. So it's all about the luck with them. You can't put a female on there. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and hide your gender, you can become part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, let's do this. Now she's a pirate. We're all adults here, let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. Eventually she's going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure it out that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here. These are friends of mine, they're going to help you out, and we'll figure it out when you come back. So she goes and has the baby, but she returns with no child. We have no idea what happened to this kid. Yeah, really weird. Wait, it gets worse. She's dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. While she was away giving birth to his kid, because we don't even know what gender, he captured another pirate crew and they're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting, because that's what Anne does, because Jack is already pissed off that she's dressed like a female. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like guys to be pirates on the same ship. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. The 2 of these young ladies become friends, possibly lovers, we'll never know for certain. And the British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet of ships to take down 1 pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. Obviously, they're going to get taken. It's a whole fleet of ships. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain and beau, Calico Jack, being hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up here on spirit boxes all the time. The judge, his name is Nicholas Laws. So when you hear my name, it's for one of 3 reasons. There's a lot of Nicholases around this area. But anyway, Nicholas Laws wants to see the 2 men by themselves after he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken crew that wouldn't come up and fight. So the 2 ladies go in front. They reveal their gender, hoping to be saved because they're female. He doesn't care. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies, was the last thing they said, basically claiming to be pregnant because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail. Delays the hanging, and Dad is still here in the Charlestown area with his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's guy number 4, because yes, we're going to count Mary. We don't know. And that's husband number 2, because she never married anybody in between. So, husband number 2, guy number 4, has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Mary Reed died a year later in 1721 from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. I'm sure it was scurvy.
I was going to say scurvy.
Whatever imagination you want to come up with.
Rickets.
I only left 2 things out on purpose because, again, this story has a lot of holes and it's pretty sketchy. The 2 things I left out for us to ask about are the names of her parents, that would be the father and the mistress, and the name of Jack's ship. So, I know those things for certain of what those are. Now, I also told you at the beginning of the story that people have passed out on this. You guys all got quiet on me. Here's a story really fast of what actually happened back in September, of part of the reason why I give this heated warning. And this isn't the first time this has happened, but this one's very extraordinary. I bring my group back here. It's probably a party of 8 or 9, larger group. The kid next to me goes white as a ghost, and I literally have to pick him up by his arm so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up on the other arm, and we get him over to that brick wall, which is where we're going to head to. He's starting to feel better, but I send the boyfriend over to get him a bottle of water. He comes back. I then tell the story I just told you. It's important to know that they don't know what's going on yet. They pull me aside after I scatter everybody out with their devices, because normally I say scatter. Let's have some fun. Nick, we have to tell you something. What's up? We are 2 transgender males. 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary on my tour. And it made complete sense to them as to why one of them passed out the minute we entered the space. This was the temperature of what we had. It was like mid-60s. Nobody was overdressed, underdressed. It wasn't anything.
Yeah, it wasn't like heated.
And dude felt fine the entire tour, he said. He's like, I don't know what it is. I think they even put that in part of their review for me. So I was kind of like, I'm going to tell that story every night. They put it out there to the public. We're going to tell that story every night. But again, I cannot make this stuff up.
Yeah.
There's no way. I'm out here every night and see weird shit all the time. So, skeptics, I usually convert just based on the stories that I tell. We're going to spread out a little bit in here. So those of you with cameras, I want you guys to kind of work together. Here's where I want you to go.
Where do we want to go?
Kathy's like, I'm going.
Yeah, she's ready to roll. I talk too damn much. So you guys can go up to the front of the powder magazine.
Okay.
Exit the lot right
Okay.
past this little hut. Make a left. The only thing I ask is you don't get in the way of other tours. So if somebody stops there, just wait your turn.
Yeah.
Put your cameras right in between the bars. Get a little bit of footage. We're going to listen to the spirit box and see if this REM pod is actually going to give us any action tonight. We will not get any...
Oh, sorry, that was me.
So don't get me stoked, man. That was awesome.
I'm
She
sorry.
ran into the
I
whole
literally ran into it. Okay, sorry.
The EMF reader will not
Okay.
give us a whole lot. So
Okay.
Get anything out of it that's going to...
So where are we supposed to go? Right
We're
there?
going to go out over there and then go to the front.
Okay.
I guess we'll go through the bushes.
Bushes are out that way.
We
Either
can
way.
go out. Yeah, we should probably go out this way.
You just said past the hut. So. Watch the damn ghost show up while we're gone.
I can't believe I ran into that thing. I think he got a little excited.
I did too. I was like, ooh, finally.
I know. No, it isn't surprising though. He seems pretty legit.
Yeah, he's good.
I like his commitment.
I do too. It's good, buddy.
I can't get it through, can you? Oh, almost.
What?
I almost got it through. Nope, I can't.
Put mine in.
Hmm? You see the thing right there to put your hands and stuff in?
Oh, what do you call those things?
I know. A gillet. No.
No, guillotine chopped your
No.
head off.
Here, I'm going to go down a little
Barrack? No.
bit. No, it's a shackle thing.
Pillory. I think it's called the pillory because it's on a thing right here.
Yeah. I got mine through. Ready to go back? Oh shit. I'm stuck.
Twist. Swivel.
Hold on. Got it.
There you go.
I gotta pee. I'm so thirsty.
I am too. Potty. Bed. I'm tired.
I know, I am too.
You got tired.
And we gotta get up early in the morning.
Oh yeah. We will. Anything?
Nothing coming up on mine.
She had a really good reading.
Oh yeah, we had a 32.
Oh.
Like, we don't normally get EMF here at all. Like, we might get a couple of 2s, maybe a 3. Nothing significant. So like
32.
So I'm surprised you didn't hear anything around that same time.
Heard the word, the name Dwight.
Dwight?
That's a.
Like,
Was
I just thought
that
it was very
Ann's other name?
strange. I was like, what? Because I heard. Now, before we got where we stopped, I heard Eliza, and then I heard Howard. But then here I heard.
where did you
Dwight.
hear Howard?
Right before we got here.
Before we
Where
walked
you
into the
stopped,
actual.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's relevant to?
No.
We talked about Sue, Howard, Harvey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, I heard Howard, but I heard Eliza because we, but I've heard Eliza more times tonight.
Maybe she's with
But
us.
Howard was different. But I knew we talked about a Howard. But Dwight. That's a weird name.
That's
The only-
more modern ghost.
Well, yeah,
No,
there's a
Dwight
Howard.
is an old name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's an old name.
All I can think of is Dwight. He was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Hey?
Oh my God.
What'd she
God,
say?
you
He was
just
on
brought,
the Real Housewives.
you
of
brought
Atlanta.
that up in a tour. Really, Kathy?
That's the
Dwight
guy.
Eisenhower.
And now we've all
honey.
recorded it.
Way
This
back
is
there.
our smartest one in the group. She's the engineer. Watching the Real
I
Housewives.
am
word
all
mathematics
up on
just
all
showed up,
sorts of
too.
urban.
Oh yeah? She is an electrical engineer.
Okay.
She's our smart one. Except for TV shows, apparently.
Sounds like you're the moneymaker.
Not anymore.
She was.
I
Well,
was.
I mean, I don't know. That severance package excites me. So.
It's a good one.
Anything crazy with the cameras up front?
No, not that I know of, but I mean, it's quite possible that there was something and you'll be like, oh my gosh, these girls missed all this.
No, and that's the whole point, is I'm only going to spot check things. So the fun of this is actually going through the research. People with educations like yourselves, like, this is something where you guys really thrive and get back to me on the shit you found. So again, I'm going to actually show you guys just kind of a gist of like what I find on those cameras, so that way you guys have a better gist. And we're going to, are you still listening? Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure you're still going while we're,
Do you want me to still be recording?
why not?
Okay,
We're not
sure.
hurting anything. I just posted the, because I love that new upgrade on that camera. The last one was really shitty, so I was really glad I was able to upgrade it.
How good you look, Angie, and
You look good with heat.
you're so hot.
I'm a hot mama.
You guys are stealing my jokes now.
I know, sorry. Well, we're kind of a funny crew, I have to say.
No, this is a good group. All right, so this is actually exactly where we're standing.
Hey, hold on, I gotta put my glasses on.
Oh yeah, hold up.
Hold on, everybody get your
Let's see
glasses
if I
on.
can-
So we're all in.
This is literally right where we're standing. I want
Yeah.
you to watch coming over here.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's the camera you're holding. That's why I said let's leave it
Ooh.
running. And that's actually a new model, so it's like new on the market, and what it's actually able to do. The night before, after that one, I caught this. This one's kind of small, but it is still pretty good. See if it'll go sideways. It's going to show up right down in here. It's really quick, and I slow these down so you can see them.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Saw it.
So again,
I must
bugs
look
are going to be
up.
super fast, and they're going to have an origin and basically a destination. So
Yeah.
you know, they're going to go through the camera. It's not going to be zip, disappear. You know, it's not, and that's slow. Like, I'm surprised I even caught that one. As far as your thermal imaging camera, let me see if I can find. I got to go in the hood. I have an evidence folder for the business page on Facebook. Find the evidence folder. Videos, of course. So the evidence. This is actually one of my favorites. I actually used to show this off all the time.
So what's the Facebook page for your business?
Stories in the
Okay.
cemetery. So, that's the right one. All right. So you see the two living people going past the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rewind it so everybody can see it. So there's going to be two orange heads going past the wall. This is
Yeah.
the Pinckney Mansion site. You guys see him? So that's a point of reference. This guy's always going to stay in view. I'm going to fast forward a little bit so you guys can see it. Oh, passed it up. So you're going to look past the wall. There's going to be two black heads going right there.
Oh.
Yeah. I have sent these videos to firemen that actually know these videos, and they're like, yeah. I tested it to make sure it's vehicles. I mean, those are two heads. Like, they're side by side walking together. And you've seen that they're supposed to be orange. That's why I say we got to keep a point of reference in there at all times. That's probably the best piece of evidence. Because the other one that I found...
I just walking a little stroll by, nightly stroll. What's he doing?
Let's see where the hell that one went off to. This was actually caught by an 8-year-old little girl using your camera.
Ah,
Yeah.
she better than I did.
This is the still shot. Because I took a lot of stills to make sure we could see it. Do you see this little blue blob with the black face?
Yeah.
It moves and walks in the video.
Oh.
So let me see if I can find the video. It's because she was 8. So it's very hard to see.
I see the people.
That's us walking. Is this the right video? I can't remember. We've actually caught quite a bit. I think this is where there's 3 people standing behind them. I'm gonna move around. I'm watching it upside down, so I'm having a hard time seeing what the hell it is. Oh yeah, this is the 3 figures standing behind. So if you look at us, there's 3 people standing right there that change temperature. They actually grow up on the wall. These are the shade stills. There's the still.
Oh yeah.
You see it now?
Yep.
Yes.
There's the orange that just showed you. Where's the one with the... Yeah, that thing was crazy. I took a lot of stills of it. You could see it growing and walking towards us. So it's going to be right over here on the right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh.
But again, she's 8, so the camera's all over.
Yeah.
That's why I took so many still shots. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for when I'm going through it.
Wow.
Hear anything else while we were standing here?
Virgil.
Virgil. You're getting these weird names. Where are these people coming from?
I have no idea. I mean, they're not names you're going to hear on the radio. You know?
Yeah, definitely. That's the whole point. I'm going to let this run for a few more minutes, and I say I give you guys the answers to this space because this is usually a hit or miss, like I said. So let's get into the answers. And you guys can ask me a million more questions if you'd like once we get off the air. I'm an open book, no pun intended. So the picture that I'm going to show you of Anne Bonny is one of the few you can find with her with a shirt on.
Oh.
With a shirt on?
Mm-hmm. She used to bare her breast to show the men she killed that they were just killed by a woman. So again, this is a badass chick.
I like her.
Yeah. So obviously she's depicted as the voluptuous redheaded vixen from Ireland. If, you know, pictures of her, because they actually made a stamp out of her at one point. She was actually kind of mannish. Like she really was, if you look at her features.
Yeah.
But I also like this picture because it shows off the flintlocks. I don't like guns at all. Like, I'm not a gun person, but these things fascinate me because they evolved. Like, they changed every decade. They were so different to the next. This one is actually, I think, depicted wrong. They would have had more of a duckbill for the time frame. And it's just weird that this one actually is the one showing it because this would have been like 1780s, roughly. But again, these are things I have to look at because we hear terms that are relative to the parts of the gun. It's kind of like I have to learn about it in order to make it right.
I could hear just a little short blurb of the song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
So one night specifically on there's 2 DJs talking, female DJs, and they start laughing and they say, they think we're guys. Like, again, stuff I can't make up. Like,
yeah, I mean, just Girls Want to Have Fun. I was laughing.
Her parents, William Cormack, Mary Brennan. You guys were not expecting a secondary Mary, which is why I leave that out of the actual story. So we have Mary Brennan, the mom, and then we have Mary Reed, the friend/lover.
Yeah.
So
Very merry.
I also like to show you Calico Jack, because Calico Jack is very interesting. And again, we talked about his ship, so that's part of the other reason. There's not many pictures of him either, but somebody actually filled in a woodcut for us, so that way we can actually, you know, he's named Calico Jack because of the jackets that he wore. They were basically came from the men he killed, so they were mainly British. So he had the higher end jacket. So he's a very dapper young filthy pirate. The name of his ship was the Kingston. I don't expect Kingston to come through your spirit box, but last night we actually had the word King show up on the word list. That's what I would expect out of this kind of area, because Kingston is not a normal term, and it's not even a city that I can think of in the United States. They still have a Kingston in the islands, but
In Jamaica, Mom.
yeah. So, but those are the answers that I'll be kind of looking for. But girls just want to have fun. I'll definitely be writing that one down. I'm going to start collecting devices. More questions? Shoot them at me. Let's see what you guys have now.
Okay.
I'm going to take Angie's camera first.
I'll let you just turn it off.
Perfect.
Oh, you want to do it.